Yo, what's up, everyone? Audio. Okay, I don't know why that audiobook was playing. That's okay. Just getting the last little bit set up as we're ready to go. It's a bit chilly outside. I'm gonna have to grab put another layer on. It's a little colder than I expected. But you know, hey, that's okay. Nothing wrong with a little chilly day. So hope everyone's having a wonderful Friday, I believe it is. Yeah, it's Friday. So hope everyone's having a wonderful Friday. I should probably check to see if the audio is working. I have not done that yet. Friday. Audio is working. Great. Okay, where's my vest? Guess we're just gonna go with this vest today. So now you guys can't see what I'm doing because the phone is sitting in the other room, but you get it. You get it. I know you get it. So we're gonna talk today. We're gonna talk a little bit about ADHD and stuff I'm doing to solve it. I think I'm going to make this more of a regular series. About once a week, we're going to do like a nice show, kind of talking about it, so that folks that have it, and maybe you're thinking about becoming farmers and such, we can give you some tricks and tips that I've done throughout the course of my life to make it so that I can actually get the stuff that I need to get done. Because there is some tricks and tips that I have learned throughout the course of the years. So that I think could be very useful maybe for other people. At least I can try. We can share. We can see if they'll be useful. So, okay. Oh, that's good. We're good. Phone's outside. Glasses on my face. It is a good to go. Okay. Switch over my shoes into my snow-covered boots. And isn't this the fun part about live, though, is just getting in there and, whew, cold. Fun part about being live is just getting in there, getting everything ready, and the buildup of the exciting show it's about to happen. So friends, here we are. Good day. It's snowing like crazy. We haven't checked the snow. We're going to check the snow amounts very soon, but let's peek up here. The temperature, current temperature, you can't see the current temperature. I need to turn you up a little bit. Current temperature there is about 19, which is about -8. So look at this snowy winter wonderland that we are in. You can't even see the tracks that we walked in yesterday. So I did some snow plowing and you can't even tell, which is pretty fun. So, oh, I forgot my cheat sheet. Let me go get my cheat sheet because I totally need my cheat sheet for my ADD, because otherwise I'll totally forget everything that I want to remember that's important with the we're talking about ADDC already, starting off the day. So tip number 1, something is I highly suggest having yourself your own little cheat sheet, something that helps you remind yourself of how to stay organized and how to be moving in the direction that you need to move. So for me, I make cheat sheets and I carry them around in little notepads. And so the cheat sheets in the notepads are kind of like notes to remind myself of steps that I need to accomplish that day. I'm working on a really good chore list soon. So see, cheat sheet with my notes, so that I can share it with you. And thank you, Mark, for lemons. So one of my biggest downfalls when it comes to how I deal with my farm chores and ADD is careless mistakes. And it's things like, and Lisa's caught me on it a handful of times, it's where I've overlooked giving someone food. I really thought I've given them food, or I noticed that they had some food, or they had some water and I could have given them more, and just in my mind, it was a chore that I'd done repetitively and I'd forgotten it. And so one of the things how I counteract the careless mistakes is by regularly going over and doing it multiple times. Going over making sure I'm doing everything appropriately, making sure that I gave them water, and maybe going back and checking again. The one benefit I do have with Lisa is, since Lisa is OCD, the opposite of what I have, and her OCD means that she's going to double check everything anyways. And so that's why we do make a good team when it comes to stuff like that, because she is in there double checking and making sure, even if I said I did it, even if she thinks she also did it, she'll get in there and double check and make sure that it is done. So that is kind of useful of having a teammate that will do some of will just naturally counteract, will naturally the opposite of what you're doing. So that's one of the perks of why, if you've got, ADHD, or you have, the opposite of OCD. Lisa, in the future, try not at night. Don't put just put the lids barely on. So what I was telling Lisa is, these lids, even if there's a little bit of moisture left over, they stick on and they make it really hard to pull the lid off. So it's just giving her a tip or reminding her. I can't see, that's the other thing. I can't remember if I actually told her the other day that or not. It doesn't matter if I told her or not because it didn't happen. So it's a friendly reminder. It's a reminder of myself too, because as much as I know that, I'm also notorious for putting the lids back on. So thanks, Mark. Yeah, I love these hats that Lisa makes. So probably, maybe as soon as tonight, but probably by next week, we will have some of her hats and her scarves and her such up on our store. And there'll be a link to the store. The store is Mavis Hen X, just as it sounds, Mavis Hen X, and you can find that on Etsy. You can also follow her on Instagram too. That's her Instagram name. We got quite a bit of snow. We're gonna, as soon as I get the water for Lisa and before we're ready to feed these guys, I'm gonna bring out the tape measure and see how much snow we actually have, because I know what I cleaned out yesterday, and it seems like we've got quite a bit more from what I did yesterday. So next on our list is, and I'm horrible at this, and I will absolutely admit to it, is that I am absolutely horrible at paying attention to details. Now, I know this about myself, so so I spend time trying to counteract it by trying to pay attention to little details. I will say that one of the things that has clearly made my life easier is ChatGPT, because I will write something and then I will have ChatGPT look over it for misspellings, for things that don't make sense. Now that I've learned how to prompt, I bet with how cold it is and snowy and that kind of stuff, I bet I've been lucky that I haven't had to sledgehammer it. My bird house, my chicken coop, Sylvia's house, any of that. I've been pretty lucky about that. So what I was saying about ChatGPT, one of the things that I've learned about how to properly use ChatGPT is that it can really help me with my attention to details in my writing and things of that sort. If only I could have it so that it could look over, things I do in real life, because there's some times that in real life I could really use a little bit more attention to detail that sometimes I sometimes I just, as much as I get my brain around that I need to be paying attention to that detail and I need to do that, it's just easy for me to it's just really easy for me to go and overlook it. And it's something though I know, so it's if it's like really like legal documents or something like with a car or something else, I then have to make myself a little check. Yeah, I will help out. I will find some way to do a cheat sheet or something to help me get to the next thing. Yeah, Elon Musk, with the Neuralink, there could actually be something that, it's funny. I was thinking about the Neuralink. Let's jump on that for just a second, and dealing with mental issues. So if with the Neuralink, if it was a neural lace, and let me explain what the difference between a neural link is and a neural lace. A neural lace would be something that you put on your head, a wearable device, a not implantable device, but a wearable device. If I could have like a wearable device that might interact with my brain, I'll be honest, I probably would use it. I kind of already do use a few things that are wearables. So I have a Muse, it helps you meditate, but it's also portable ECG, I believe it is. And so it can actually map and tell you what certain brain waves are doing. So I use that, and I've used a hacked version of that for a while now. So as a biohacker, there are definitely things that I'm not, that maybe are pushing the envelope, that if I can find a way that it actually enhances my life a bit, I'll probably totally use. Yeah.
Take care of that.
Okay. Okay.
I was going to dump this.
Whew. So, back to the cheat sheet. Back on the list of things. List number 3. Difficult sustaining attention. Oh, that is something. Me sustaining attention. I'm getting a lot better at it because I know how to cycle back around. But where this can sometimes be a problem is in important areas to be able to sustain attention. So that's like when you're having good conversations with friends, or where you are doing things like business related, is being able to not get lost over into the weeds. Try not to even get into the high grass. That's something through meditation that's actually helped me, but it's also through listening to the words that come out of my mouth, and making sure, and also paying attention to facial expressions. Sometimes other people help me with their conversations, with how they're talking. It can help me know that I'm getting a little too far into the weeds, or I'm getting a little too far off topic, and they'd rather me stay back on the topic that I'm talking with. So the good thing is that's something I think can be solved through feedback, from feedback with individuals and feedback with other people. That also means this is something that folks that they also don't think, maybe don't think so much about. But if you're in a relationship with someone with ADHD, there are times when I'm having conversations with Lisa, or we're talking about something, and her idea leads me to think about something else. And even though I should be dedicating my time to listening to what she's talking about, or an idea that she has because we're in a good conversation, or maybe we're in an important conversation, but then my ADD kicks in and I'm thinking about something else that has nothing to do with what we're currently having a conversation with, because my brain now thinks that that's the more important thing to be thinking about. That sometimes can be hard on partners that don't have ADHD and don't understand how that works. So that is something, if you've got ADHD, something you need to be very, very patient with your partner about, because they don't understand. Folks without ADHD do not understand how the brain can dance around and like, this is an important subject. Why we're talking about, let's say we're talking about bills or money, and then your brain's kicking in and you want to start talking about that movie you saw that reminded you about bills and money, and it's something that that would be fun to talk about, but your partner's like, I'm trying to be serious about a subject. So that's something that someone with ADHD, you need to be more patient with your partner, because they don't experience what you're experiencing. And so this is sometimes that I think we often use it.
I think that's normal with all girlfriends, but if you can flag it as ADHD, fair enough.
But sometimes there's folks that will try to use their ADHD as an excuse on why they can't do things. I can't think of anything that I've not been able to do because of ADHD. I can think of things that are rather difficult for me to do and maybe take me longer, or maybe I have to do some dancing around and tricking, but being able to use it as an excuse, so that's something you can't do, or that's the reason you failed. That's just kind of that's being that's kind of being one of those snowflakes where you're just kind of like, well, it wasn't me. It was, it was this thing in my head. Well, that thing in your head is you. So it actually was you. So, but just also, and if you're on the flip side and you are new to dating someone with ADHD, do understand that there's going to be quirks. And it takes two to tango. And so just remember, good communication and trying to work as a team are ways for both of you to get through that. So, but it is, as the person with ADHD, it is also your responsibility to know that your partner sometimes is just not going to understand where you're going. So, would I suggest two ADHD people dating? Maybe not. Maybe not. There are benefits to it, but there's also, you might not, if you do, you need to have things automated. Like you probably need to have your bills automated. You probably need to have like when you're going to run out of food automated, and maybe all of your chores written down. Then maybe two ADHD people can, like, you know, be in a functional relationship. So again, you know, making sure you don't use excuses. So they should probably date, Spurgs should probably date folks with ADHD because it's a nice compliment. The Spurg is going to be very forward and logical and making sure that things get done in a structured and timely manner, where the ADHD person is going to be like, oh, we need to be more spontaneous right now and go do this crazy thing. And that actually can be very beneficial to Spurgs. It can knock them out of their routine, because sometimes you need to get knocked out of your routine. Just because life is more interesting if you are not always doing the same thing. And chaos, orderly chaos, is what ADHD does, you know, bouncing around, that kind of stuff. It's sometimes good to be knocked into order because it's different than what you've experienced, where vice versa, it's good for folks that are orderly to get knocked into some fun chaos from time to time. So it's really about trying to complement someone that your faults or your strengths. It's good to have your strengths be someone else's weakness, and someone else's weakness your strengths. It's kind of good to bounce back and forth with that. So another thing that is real popular that you hear a lot in the ADHD world, and you hear is a big complaint about folks with ADHD, is they just don't listen. And that is true, but it's true because people genuinely don't listen. That is not unique to ADHD. There are plenty of times, and Mark can contest and Lisa can contest, there are plenty of times where it's not obvious that I'm listening, but just a little bit later, maybe I'm not talking over you, I'm not necessarily talking about something like that, but maybe it doesn't look like I'm paying attention, or maybe it seems like I'm not responding, you know, I'm not participating as much in the conversation. But then later, I can recap most of everything that happened in the conversation, and I can tell you about, you know, what we're talking about, and giving my opinion or giving my advice or giving my feedback. And it might have perceived that I wasn't listening because I might have been fiddling around with something, or I might have just been sitting quietly, not saying anything, because sometimes when I try to, you know, follow along with the whole like, yeah, no, and try to communicate, that's a level of thought that I have to do sometimes, to think, should I shake my head yes this time? Should I say yes? Should I say Did I say too many times? Do they think I'm not listening? And I have to make sure I don't get caught up in thinking about what actions I'm doing to make sure the other person thinks that I'm listening. And so sometimes it is literally just easier to do absolutely nothing. And to some people, that seems like you're not listening. It just seems like you're ignoring them. So lots of little quirks. And that's what's so much fun about life and knowing people and how we are all so distinctly different, is everybody has a little quirk that people don't even realize. So one thing is, I will say that there are some people with ADHD that feel stressed all the time because they're always trying to figure out how to function in the world that they're currently in. Maybe they've maybe they've got a job, or they're in a family that just doesn't know how to function with the way their brain is so active and with how they attempt to multitask. Because one of the things is humans aren't really meant to multitask. Multitasking isn't really a strong human trait. We do it for reasons, for survival reasons, or we do it for reasons for exploration. But our default setting wouldn't actually not be to multitask. It's why, like, you can sit around by the fire and just quietly enjoy the fire. So, but you know, our current world is very multitask oriented. And so these are skills that as humans we've had to adapt to. Let's get you in here. Water for Lisa. Here's another one, Lisa. Okay, can I get I need about 1 scoop of feed so I can go get those guys. I'm gonna get about 1 scoop of feed so I can, a little scoop, so I can go get the guys out there, and then I'll get the bunnies. Okay, she didn't hear me. I'm just gonna go get the scooper in the other barn.
I just need to get water first.
Okay, I was gonna say I just need to get some scoops of food so I can get the guys out at all the bunny apartments. So.
Did you get the handy run?
I haven't done any of that yet. I haven't even. I'm going to a handy run right now to get rabbit feed.
Okay, I'll make my way there.
Okay. Okay. Ugh. Yeah, getting snow. It's sticking on my lip and making my upper lip rather cold. My beard is not working appropriately today. My beard is malfunctioning. So, where are we at? Let's go back to fail to follow tasks and instructions. So me, that is absolutely me. I am horrible at following directions. It is not a skill. It is not a skill I have. It's not a skill I've ever had. Somebody gives me instructions and the first thing I do is like, what are these for? I want to try to figure out how to do it myself. Now, I've got better. Ooh, snow down my back. I've got better as I've gotten older and realizing that sometimes if someone spent, like especially with videos and such, if someone spent enough time and is trying to make me a video on how to get something accomplished, I should do my very best to try to follow that video because they are trying to save me time. But there's still this huge instinct whenever I'm working on a video. It's like I'll start off and they'll be like, oh yeah, let's go from point A to point B. And I'm like, yeah, but I wonder if I can do this. I wonder if I can do this little shortcut. And I'm always trying to find ways to glitch things, to try them, to manipulate them a little bit different, to do them, to use things with maybe ways that they weren't meant to be used. And that's definitely not always a good, well, it's rarely a good thing. But it is just how my mind works. And so I understand that. And so there are little hacks I do for myself when I have instructions. So sometimes with instructions, I will purposely rearrange the order so that when I'm trying to do the instructions, I see that the order is rearranged or out of place. So then I have to tell myself, okay, yeah, I need to put them back in the order that they are, even though I'm the one that rearranged the order. I know that just sounds really weird to some of you guys, but it's a way to trick myself into like just fixing, hacking, glitching, just playing around with stuff. So I'm not sure that'll work for everyone. So I'm really just giving you kind of tips and tricks that work for me because I'm a unique individual that does weird things and is very odd. So, but yes, following instructions is probably part of the reason why I'm not necessarily that good at putting shit together, is because, well, unless the shit's all written in Chinese, and then it's really fun to try to put it together because then I just got pictures in China and Chinese stuff, and it's kind of fun. And then it's just kind of fun to try to figure out like what the directions really are. Also, when it comes to following directions, if I'm making directions for myself, getting that start to finish, now I have the ability, I'm really good at starting things. So there's a lot of people with ADHD that aren't good at starting things. They can procrastinate forever. So I'm good at starting things. I'm pretty good at the middle point. It's that finishing. It's that like seeing it all the way through is where I really absolutely fail at it. Like I'll start something, I'll be excited, like super excited to get this project done. I'll be working really hard on the middle of the project, and I just can't see how it's going to finish. And I don't need to finish things. Like I don't need to finish video games. I don't need to get 100% on things. I don't have that drive in me to do that. And so that means when a project comes along, like if the barn is half built, like sometimes that's like good enough. That's cool. And I'm like, oh, let's go work on this new project and start this. So one of the things that I know that I need in my life is I need people that are better at finishers. You know, like the end of Mortal Kombat, finish him. I need that kind of thing. Because that's just not what I'm good at. I've tried and I'm trying, and it's no excuse because I shouldn't have to always rely on other people. But we kind of live in a society that's kind of built around relying on your tribe and relying on a lot of good people. And so I do try to surround myself with people that can help me, push me past that last little bit of the oomph to try to get that thing finished, to get that project finished. So, yeah, see, I would probably be very good at that. Like, I actually liked finished projects and then making them better or more interesting. I like that kind of stuff, and that seems to work very well for me. So you'll hear this a lot with people with ADD, and I joke about it a lot because it's just kind of how I like to use words. But you will hear a lot of people say, oh, you're not. You'll hear people say, oh, you know, that's not lazy. You're just using, or that's not ADHD. You're just lazy. You're just using that as an excuse. You're just a lazy person. And one of the things I want to point out to folks is, yeah, I mean, everybody's lazy. But there's a lot of times that folks with ADHD, it's not being lazy. Actually, we probably work harder than most people because we know we have this tendency to do these things that are just not functionable. And so we have to kind of like build a system, build like a scaffolding around it so we don't actually do some of them. And so where we might be doing a lot more, we have to do a lot more prep work, or we have to do a lot more work dealing around what should just be a nice simple task, but because our brain's not going to let that be a nice simple task, we have to dance around it. And so to a lot of people, when they see things and they're like, wait, how are you tired? We just started this project. They haven't realized all the work that we might have put in before that project started just to get ourselves up to this particular state. And so there's times where you might think that the folks with the ADHD is just being lazy, when in reality, they've already done a lot more stuff that you would have never done, stuff that you didn't need to do, but they've already done a lot of stuff. And they're tired now because they're just like, that was a lot of work to get me to prep, to get me. I guess, yep. Toes, yep. So those are things that, like, I think are probably important for other people to think about. Like I said, guys, one of the things I'm going to do is with the Let's Feed the Chickens and with these shows, I think once a week, I'm going to definitely have a show dedicated to talking about ADHD. I think it's something that we need to bring. It's not that we need to bring awareness to, we just need to bring more truth to it. So. Yeah, it's just, and it's not that I'm, as someone who has it, as someone who understands that there's a stigma to it, but there's also excuses. I don't want to be cured of ADHD. I'll tell you that right now. It is my superpower. When it works in my favor, it is spectacularly awesome. The downfall is when I'm trying to work with somebody else, or when we're trying to work inside of a structure that they don't understand, there's a lot of miscommunication. So what I would really, part of the purpose of why we're going to talk about ADHD once a week is to bring awareness to how you as a ADHD person can help make the world a little better around you by understanding that spurges and normies and neurotypicals and people with OCD and people with all the other letters that they have, how they're going to interact with you differently, and you should try to interact with, and how you should try to. The snow does not have ADHD. That is true. It is coming down. And so you, as someone with it, and maybe as a loved one, of having someone with a loved one, or having a child or a husband or a wife, it also helps you understand things better. So that's kind of the idea of why once a week we're going to talk about it. I think I'm going to also, in the future, when I get my organization plan down, which we're going to talk about organization in just a minute. When I get my organizational plan down, I think I'm going to talk about how all the steps that I took to kind of build how I learned to organize myself. I'm working on, I've been practicing now for about a week and a half, a new organization task, and it's seeming to help. I've tried many things in the past. There's lots of stuff I've adopted, and I realized that some of you might not have known that some of these different techniques, or that other people are trying a variety of techniques as well. So we're also going to talk, and I'm going to share and probably make a class on how I've found the stuff to organize, how I've used technology to make the organization better, more interesting, and how we can thrive. Because fundamentally, at the end of the day, I want every one of you to have a luxurious life, that you're thriving in everything that you want to do. And if you don't know how to do that, the weird problem solving part of my brain says, I want to fix that. Like, we got to figure it out. There's got to be a way. Like, there's got to be a way everybody can thrive. Everybody can have a spectacular, wonderful, super cool life. It's weird. It's almost like, I want everyone to win, because I think we all can. I don't think this is a game of battle royale, winner take all. I think that this concept of life that we live in, this fleshy body, I think it's all about, we can all win. I think it's a co-op game. I think it's a survivor co-op game that we're in. And if we help each other, and we understand that this game really regenerates everything that we need every 7 days, and all we got to do is figure out a way to harness that stuff that it regenerates and to thrive on that, and we can figure it out. I think we can have a awesome, wonderful life together. Back to the cheat sheet. Enough of my little rant in that way. Okay, we're talking about organization. So right now, there's organization, there's personal organization. That's personalize your life, getting your life, your chi in order, all that fun things. But then there is the part of your business life. Let's make sure you go to work, you do the good stuff that you're doing at work, you make sure you don't get fired for, it's okay to be fired. Don't ever think that it's not okay to be fired. It's okay to be fired, but get fired for doing the right thing and for being the better person. But yeah, organizing your business life, but then you got to organize your social life. And I think that folks with ADHD don't think about that they need to organize their social life, because friends and all that kind of stuff need attention. You have to foster your friends. You got to feed your friends. You got to give them part of your energy.
Like some of our wares, visit our online store.
So, you gotta make sure your friendships are strong. You gotta do things, some friends require more feeding. Some friends require more attention. Some friends are just cool. Like my buddy Sean, we didn't talk for 4 years, and we picked back up. It was like we didn't miss a step. Some friendships are like that. And you should be able to identify. And it's hard sometimes. It's hard sometimes to identify what kind of friends you have when it comes to that. But, and friends change. Different things happen, like you get married, or they get married, you got kids, or you got a new complicated job. There's definitely things that you have to be aware of and pay attention to. But organizing, like having an organization. It can be in your head, it can be on paper, it can be in your phone, but just organizing your friends so that you can fill their feeding troughs every time they need it. So they're not starving for your attention, for your friendship, for what you're giving in return to them. So that's something that I think we're going to really sit and talk about that one day, because that is something I don't hear much people talking about. And we live in this world where everybody feels lonely. And so we need to start figuring out ways to foster better quality friendship with other individuals. So I want to talk about that as well in the very near future. So the problem is that my not only am I bad at writing, it kind of got like smudged, and so like my notes are kind of smudgy. Luckily, I'm good at reading smudgy things. I think that says losing track of your tasks. As you can see, if you've watched the stream today, you can see how many times I've lost track of tasks. I'm supposed to be feeding the chickens and giving them water, and what am I doing? I'm standing in the snow talking to you guys. So we're going to go over and finish our tasks. I did get the water, and I did get everything set up. That is the one thing that I am pretty good at doing, knowing that I'm going to just be bouncing around like crazy. I know I am pretty good at remembering to try to get tasks. I'm going to sit you guys over here so you guys can see it from more of a distance. So when it comes to these tasks that I'm often forgetting about, I've learned, hence I have the cheat sheet that you guys are seeing right now. I've learned that if I give myself a cheat sheet, or I give myself little reminders of what the tasks are to be, and then I can look back. So I have a calendar. Most people use calendars to tell them what they're going to do, what important lessons are there for later on in the week. Most of the time, my things are to remind myself of what other things I need to accomplish in the next couple days. So, because there's a lot of stuff that I usually need to accomplish in the course of a couple days, and if I don't write it down, I'll just, in a day or so, it'll just be lost into the abyss of all of the thousands of things that I think I want to do, or should do, or could do, because that's how it goes. Yeah, I mean, that's a tactic. It's not a very good tactic, but it is a tactic. So, okay, now, now for you, yes, I can imagine how the 50 emails a day, how that could absolutely be a reminder of what needs to get done. I don't receive 50 emails of people telling me what needs to get done. Maybe if I did, that would, if the chickens all emailed me, I mean, it might not be fun if all the chickens emailed me. It'd probably look like chicken scratch. I'm trying, guys. I'm really not good at jokes. But, if I did have a job or something like that, that would probably help me out, because I am good at answering emails. Somebody sends me an email and I usually answer it very quickly, because, you know, if someone sent the time to send me an email and they want a question for me, I should answer them. They want my opinion. So there's a level of being cocky there, because, you know, people want to talk to me, and I think it's cool when people want to talk to me. So, whew. Okay. Oh, man. Cold hands. Let's go get these guys over here next. And then I've got 2 more outside, and I really need to get gloves like these. I need to get better gloves with spam calls. I really need to get gloves with tips of my fingers again, because usually this works, but days like this where it's like frigid outside, you know, what did I say it was? It was like 10, 12, something like that out. It does by whatever, however long we're out now, the tips of my fingers are starting to not work the way they should. And I can tell by when I'm trying to do things is sometimes my fingers are just like, nope, we're not going to do that, Justin. You don't need to use those tips of the fingers. They are just too cold. And so with all of that, you have to remember that I need to get better gloves. Hey, buddy. Okay. Sure, I gotta. Yes. I have not done them yet.
I'll button that up.
Okay. You didn't happen to bring a scoop of regular food? Okay. No, I hadn't got anything yet. It's cool. Ah, blue fingers. Yeah, that's good. It's fine.
Huh?
Nothing. I was just telling everybody it was fine. My fingers aren't turning blue yet.
Oh, I'll go get a scoop.
That's fine. They got some.
They do?
Yeah.
Oh, weird. Nobody's water was frozen.
No one's water's frozen in here either.
Doesn't make sense.
No, it does make sense.
Today's colder than yesterday.
The snow is actually
Insulating.
insulating.
Yeah, you're right.
So, you didn't do anything in handy run?
Huh?
You didn't do anything in handy run?
Everything's done.
Oh, so I just got those last two guys to get.
In. I was gonna button everything up. Yeah.
So I just got these two last guys to do then. Okay. Yeah, black is too late. You're right. My dad actually got frostbite, and because of that, he got frostbite on his toe, which actually led to him getting his leg amputated. So I'm very familiar with that. But part of the reason he didn't realize his toe was getting that is because he was on some medication for an injury and pain medication. And so because of that pain medication, he didn't realize that he needed that his feet were getting extra cold. And so it was just a bad story altogether. It also dates back to injuries that he possibly occurred while he was in the military. So just lots of combinations, mix that stuff that happened when he was probably working at a factory. So it's just a stack on lots of things that can lead to. So you should pay attention to when your body is telling you things like it's getting too cold. Yes, I know that I've heard from a lot of older folks that having circulation problems need to pay attention because they got diabetes or they got the sugar, and so they got to be careful to make sure that they don't let that circulation problem lead to bigger, more complicated issues. So you guys see, here's another great example today is how easy someone with ADHD, how easy it is to be distracted and to be pulled into different directions. I am spectacular at the shiny penny. So Yeah, my sister lives up in Ohio, and I have some other friends that live in other states that way, and it absolutely looks like it's going to be brutally cold. So yeah, I hope so as well. I mean, my state here in West Virginia, we are under, I think we're still under a current state of emergency. So whew, that's colder than I like. I don't want to, and I like cold. Like I actually might, because of how big and fluffy and snowy it is outside, I actually might go for a walk a little later this evening. I think I can go for a walk. It won't be as fun with the, it won't be as much fun, but I can actually, with this rig I got set up, once I put gloves on, a little bit better gloves, I can turn, this one's got a built-in light. And so it actually, we're going to see, it might actually be fun to go for a little night walk tonight, even if it's just a little short up part of the mountain and back down. Might end up doing that just because it's been a while since I really went and did a good hike in the snow. And hiking in the snow is pretty fun. I might just stick a headlamp on and watch it through the glasses. So if you're interested in that, you'll have to watch that on Instagram, which is X Factor Firefly 37 on Instagram. But I might be able to rip that off of Instagram and put it on DLive, and we can rewatch it. Because DLive is my home place. It's where I spend most of my time. It's like West Philly. So but we'll see. We will see what ends up happening. So let's go measure the snow, because that's what we talked about, is we needed to get some measurements of the snow. Yeah, I'll leave the door open so the guys can go in and out. Let's get this snow measured, and let's see how much total snow we have, and then let's go over to one of the snow spots where I cleared off yesterday before the snow started, and see what that has to say. So I got my snow stick up here. And I've got a couple places I know in my yard are genuinely good spots, because they're not as drifty as other spots, but I am on the mountain, so there are some spots that it's really hard. It's really hard to tell. Okay, so we're gonna come over here to this spot first, and so you can see it's about 12 and a half. That peak up there's a little 13, but it's about 12 and a half there. So we had, I think, roughly like 8 yesterday. So let's go over and see. Let's see. We'll first check on top of here. This is saying that we've had about 4 so far today. So I've got, and that just happens to be a cover. So we're going to walk over to the spot that I cleaned off specifically for this. I'm going to pick up the trash can too while we're at it. Okay. I cleaned off a spot right here specifically for this. And see, this spot is saying 7, which seems a little high. I don't think we've had 7 so far. This is saying 7 inches right now. That's a little, we haven't had 7 inches today. 4 to 5 is probably a lot more reasonable. I'm gonna set you guys on top of the car for just a second so I can grab the trash can. No reason to have the trash can just sit. I did drive my car. So I'll put you guys right here for just a second. I'm gonna put this. See, I'm gonna get my trash can and put my trash can where my trash can belongs, instead of it just sitting and doing trash can things like filling up with snow. I need to clean it out. It's kind of a mess. It's kind of a mess. Whew. Snow is cold. Okay. Let's show you one other thing, just so we can verify, because some of you guys saw that I moved my car yesterday. And by the way, the car is always on the stream if you watch the Mavis Pharmacy stream. Okay, so we're sitting here on the car. Let's get level. Let's get the snow stick. Let's put it in the snow. And got 4 inches on the car. So that's 2 spots. It's 2 spots that said 4 inches today. So let's assume that both of those are correct. And let's say that we got 4 inches of snow so far today. And what time is it? I don't know. It's whatever time it is. 4 or 5, 4. It's not 5 yet because it would be dark. Well, 5:30, I think it gets dark. So it's somewhere in the vicinity of the 4, 5 o'clock type time set. What's time? Time is just an illusion of our imagination that other people use to tell you where the sun is. So 4 inches, pretty cool. And it's still snowing. It's not even looking like it's slowing down. So I will keep you guys updated. So that means that we had 8 plus 4, 8. That means 12. So that one that I measured was 12. Yeah, that's about 12. Yeah, so it's about right. So we have a foot. That's cool. It's been a while since I've had a foot of snow on the ground here. Like, it's been a long while. That's cool. There's a foot of snow on the ground here right now. Very fun. So anyways, guys, I'm getting cold. We might go for a little walk a little later, so something I'm looking forward to. Anyways, thank you guys all for joining me on this fun adventure. I'm going to go in and warm up my hands because they're pretty cold. And if you guys want to hang out in the Discord, you can see in the description below the Discord. Anyways, guys, it's Doc. Have yourself a wonderful day. See you guys in a bit. Adios.